And I have to wear my glasses. I didn't want to, but I got to do it. Thank you all so much for being here today. This is truly one of those apex moments in a person's life that you savor and you look forward to, and then here it is, and you just try not to hyperventilate. I'm so honored to be here today amongst all of you community leaders. And of course, first, I have to thank the Denver Metro Chamber Leadership Foundation and Channel 9 for this immense honor. And of course, I also want to thank all of the very, very many special people who have been part of this journey with me. Of course, first, my incredible parents, Judge Lorenzo Marquez and my mom, Cherry Marquez. Wave, Mom and Dad. My husband and chief cheerleader, Andrew Hudson. My son, Nick, who I think is more excited about missing school today than being here for me, but thanks, Nick, you're awesome. And our other beautiful children, Julia and Mateo, my wonderful sister and best friend, Justice Monica Marcus, and her partner, Sheila. Olga Garcia from Denver Health, who nominated me, and all the people who wrote letters of support. Olga, you're the best. My many, many great friends and colleagues who are here today, and especially my unbelievable staff and board of directors who have stuck with me through this crazy vision, through thick and thin. Thank you all for believing in me, even when the going got rough, and believe me, it has gotten very rough sometimes. There's just one person, as the video implied, that I wish could be here today, and that's my abuelito, Jose Desiderio Marquez. Grandpa Joe was one of my role models and inspirations growing up. We all have them, don't we? The people whose shoulders we stand on. He was just a poor ranching kid from Antonito, Colorado, in the San Luis Valley, the oldest of 10 children, and one of the first in his community to graduate from high school. Grandpa always aspired to go to college. In fact, he shared with me that one day he wanted to be a dentist. But life just didn't work out that way. Instead, he had a knack for math and learned how to become a surveyor and ended up getting a job with the Bureau of Reclamation. Eventually, he worked his way up into a management position. My family and I spent many, many hours on the road from Grand Junction, where I grew up, driving to Santa Fe, where my grandparents lived, to visit them. On one of those visits, I distinctly remember, and Monica, maybe you remember this too, I was bossing you around, which I know how to do. And my grandpa, who loved to perch in his great big green vinyl armchair, started to chuckle. Ay, mijita, you're just like me, a true Marquez. You're bossy. And at the time, I wasn't sure if I should be flattered or offended, and it really stuck with me. But I think, in retrospect, that was my abuelito's greatest compliment. On the wall in the small office, which we converted into a bedroom when we went there for our visits, hung dozens of plaques and certificates and awards and pictures with presidents and senators and all this sort of thing. And I remember laying there on many, many occasions, staring at those things, really not having any clue what they meant. And it wasn't until my grandfather had his 90th birthday, which we celebrated here in Denver, that I really understood the leader that he had been, the impact that his life had had, and the influence that he'd had over so many others. Several New Mexican elected officials traveled all the way from Santa Fe to join us that day. They presented my abuelito with awards for his lifetime of service to the state, the difference in the lives he'd made in all these New Mexican people, and for the mentoring he had provided to each of them. Now, I have to reveal something here. My abuelito was the powerhouse in the New Mexican Republican Party. And We teased him all the time that he managed to produce an entire family of Democrats, but we won't get into that. I remember, though, standing there going, I had no idea that my humilde abuelito had this impact. I mean, I knew he went to a lot of meetings, but I really had no idea. And I thought, if I can just be one half of the leader that he was in his lifetime, that would be a great thing. Well, abuelito que está en el cielo, I hope that I have taken that natural trait of Marquez bossiness, and there seem to be others in the room who share that, and turned it into something that is great. The lessons that you and Mom and Dad have taught me, I've taken with me everywhere, and those are hard work, a commitment to absolute excellence all the time, integrity, and service to others. It has been a journey getting here today, and back in 1997 when I started at Mi Casa, just fresh back from Costa Rica, I never in a million years would have thought I'd be standing here before you. That journey has been filled with many, many miracles, but many, many tribulations too. And my family was always there to support me. Because of them, I always wanted to dedicate my career to the Latino community. I just wasn't sure how I would do that. Mi Casa Resource Center has been a very special part of that journey for me. Today, we have the privilege of addressing what I think is one of the most important missions in our community, not just for the people and families that directly are serviced by our organization, but frankly for the entire state of Colorado. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, 1 out of every 3 people living in Denver and 1 out of every 5 Coloradans is Latino. This population is expected to grow 29% per decade over the next 20 years. And by the year 2050, 1 out of every 3 American workers will be Latino. Unfortunately, despite many, many positive gains, our community continues to lag behind in poverty, educational outcomes, home ownership, business ownership, and wealth. And that's why Mi Casa is dedicated to working with our many community partners, so many of you are here in the room today, to ensure that Latinos and other low-income families have the chance, the dignified opportunity to obtain the skills, education, and support they need to realize the American dream. That's all folks want. They want to contribute to the economy and to our community. I am so excited to see that today, immigration reform is just around the corner, and we are working very hard for that. Because there are so many young people, like you've seen in these videos, who simply want a chance to contribute. I, in the meantime, am making sure that Mi Casa is ready for the long haul, and I'm thrilled to announce that today, one of the things that we're trying to do is launch our own social enterprise businesses. You'd think that an organization that has told other people how to start small businesses for 35 years would have our own. Well, we don't, but we're starting one. And this week we learned that the Tim and Bernadette Marquez Foundation has made the first investment of $50,000 to support our startup costs. Very excited. And what is that business? Mi Casa Talent Source, a staffing agency. So keep that in mind when you're ready to hire people. If my abuelito could have been here today, I know that he would have said, "Je, je, je, mijita, qué bueno." I am so proud of you. Proud because, like him, I have the opportunity to make a difference in the lives of so many. Gracias, gracias por este honor tan grande. Thank you for this incredible honor today.